Solving equations in quadratic form, given x to the fourth minus 5x squared plus 4 is equal to 0. So notice that our given is not a quadratic equation. It is a quartic equation because the degree is 4. But we can still solve this in a quadratic way. First, we're going to let u is equal to x squared, so that if we're going to square each side of this equation, this u becomes u squared and this x squared becomes x squared raised to the second power. If we're going to simplify this, 2 times 2, that is x to the fourth. Now, writing down our given x to the fourth minus 5x squared plus 4 equals 0, we can replace this x to the fourth by u squared. Then, write down negative 5, and this x squared here, we can replace this by u. Then write down plus 4 equals 0. So notice that our given now from quartic became a quadratic form. And we can now use our skills in quadratic way. So we can start by factoring this trinomial into quantity u minus 1 times quantity u minus 4. Then equate each of this binomial by 0 and solve each of the equations. So in here, add both sides by 1 so that u is left. 0 plus 1 is 1. In here, add both sides by 4 so that u is left, then 0 plus 4 is 4. Since this u originally equal to x squared, so we need to replace this u by its original form, which is x squared. So x squared is equal to 1. This one becomes x squared is equal to 4. Then let's start solving the values of x. So we can square root each side of this equation so that the radicals, this squared will be eliminated and x is left. And the square root of 1 is plus minus 1. On the other side, so we're going to square or square root each of the side of the equation so that x is left here, then square root of 4 is plus minus 2. So we have, so this will be our roots, positive 1, negative 1, positive 2, and negative 2. So we have 4 roots. So if we're going to substitute these roots in our equation, and if it satisfies, then this will be our roots. Otherwise, this becomes an extraneous roots. For our given number 2, x minus 5 times square root of x plus 6 equals 0. So it doesn't look like a quadratic form, but we can transform this into quadratic form by letting u is equal to square root of x. So we usually let u from the middle term, the variable of the middle term. Then, if we're going to square each side of this equation, this u becomes u squared, and this square root of x becomes square root of x squared. And if we're going to simplify this one, so we will be left with x here, and it becomes x is equal to u squared. Now, let's go back to our given. X minus 5 times square root of x plus 6 equals 0. We can now replace this x by u squared. Write down minus 5, then this square root of x replaced by u. Then write down plus x equals 6. So notice that we just transformed the given equation into a quadratic form. And we can now use our skills in solving quadratic equations. So we can factor this into quantity u minus 2 times quantity u minus 3. Then write down equals 0. Equate each of these binomials by 0. Then let's solve this u minus 2 equals 0 by adding 2 to both sides. U is left, 0 plus 2 is 2. In here, okay, so since this u here, originally that is square root of x, so we just replace it. Then in here, add both sides by 3. So u is left, 0 plus 3 is 3. Then we will just replace this u by its original value, which is square root of x. Then after that, we will solve the values of x. So in here, we want x to be left alone, so we can square each side so that this one will be eliminated. And x is left, 2 squared is 4. On the other side, do the same thing. After eliminating this, x is left, and 3 squared is 9. So we have only 2 values for x here. These are the 2 roots, 4 and 9. If we're going to replace this 4 here, and or this 9 in here, and it satisfies the equation, then this 4 and 9 are the roots. Otherwise, they become an extraneous roots.